Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Anuta, the Crochet World, and today we are gonna do this beautiful wall hanging with 3 hearts. Now I've used Amigurumi technique to make these hearts. So these hearts are stuffed ones, and I've used polyester feeling, the washable polyester feeling, toy feeling inside these hearts. So the whole project is completely washable, and I've used my cotton yarn with the whole project I've made with the cotton yarn, and the strength of this yarn is for the 5 millimeters of the hook. But instead of using the 5 millimeters of the hook, I've used 3 millimeter of the hook, so that's why my work is a little bit tight here. So I would recommend you to use any yarn like cotton, acrylic, any yarn you have been using. It would be better to use 3 mm or 3 or 4 mm of hook, so that your the project will be tight enough, so it will not loosen up. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go back and subscribe to my channel. Like, share and comment, and I will definitely get back to you. Now, I've used these 3 colors here. I've used mustard color here. This is the white one. This is light gray, and with the tassel, I've made tassel with all 3 colors, and I've tied up my tassel with the mustard color here. With this loop, I've used again a mustard cotton yarn. So yes, this is the whole project. So let's begin. Okay, so this is my 3 mm of hook, and I'm gonna use a pink yarn. As I said, I'm gonna make another project with the white and a pink one. So let's begin with the pink one, and let's have a slip knot here. Sorry. Now I have made the heart. I've started at them from the sides, so it's gonna be like this one. It's up and down, and I have made the whole heart, and I have made 2 pieces of the heart, the front one and the back one, and then I have tied them up. So let's begin. So we are gonna start from here. Now to start with, as we have a slip knot here, let's chain up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now I'm going to do 5 single crochets. Now you can do your single crochets by inserting your hook into the second chain from the front section. I'm going to turn up my work, and I'm going to put my hook into the back side of the second chain. Now the first back side of the second chain is this one, and I'm gonna use this back side of the chain, and I'm gonna do 5 single crochets. So whatever side you have been doing it with, just have 6 chains and 5 single crochets for the first row. This is my second single crochet, 3, 4 and 5. Our row 1 is done. Now for the row 2, have a chain 1 here, and turn your work and put 2 double crochets into your first stitch and 2 double crochets into your last stitch, and remaining 3 in the middle, 3 stitches in the middle, you will have to do 1 single crochet into that one. So in total you're going to have 7 single crochets. So here I'm going to put my hook inside, and I'm going to use both the loops here, and we'll do a normal single crochet. I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch, so it's 1 and 2. Now for the next 3 stitches, I'm going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch. So this is my third, 4 and 5, and the last single crochet, I'm going to do 2 single crochets into that stitch. So it's 1 and 2, and in total I'm having 7 single crochets here for row 2. Now for row 3, chain up 1 again, turn your work, and as we have done in the previous row, do 2 single crochets into your first stitch and 2 single crochets into your last stitch, and into the remaining 5 stitches in between these two first and the last stitches, make 1 single crochets into the each stitch, and we're going to end up having 9 single crochets here. So let's begin. We're going to have 2 single crochets here. It's 1, 2, and then in the next 5 single crochets we're going to do 1 single crochets in each stitch. So it's 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now inside this last stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. So as we have done 7, 8 and 9 will be in this single crochet. So it's 8 single crochet, and it is my 9th single crochet. Now again chain 1 and do exactly the same as we have done before. Do 2 single crochets into the first stitch and 2 single crochets into the last stitch, and into that remaining 7 stitches in between these two first and the last stitch, do 1 single crochets in that. So as we have chained up 1 here, we're going to do 2 single crochets here, 1 and 2. Now into the next 7 stitches we're going to do 1 single crochet into the each stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and into the last stitch again we're going to do 2 single crochets. So that's going to be our 10 and 11 single crochets. This is the end of row 4 and chain 1. Now for the row 5 we are going to do 2 single crochets into this first stitch, and then to the remaining stitches all the way at the end of the row, in all the stitches we are going to do 1 single crochets. Now remember, we are not going to do 2 single crochets into the last stitch as we have done before. We are only going to do 2 single crochets here into our first stitch. So we're going to end up having 12 single crochets for row 5, and let's do 2 single crochets here, 1 and 2, okay. Now row 5 is done. We're going to do row 6. For row 6, chain 1 and do 1 single crochet into the each stitch, and into the last stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets here. So let's do 1 single crochet. We're going to end up having 13 single crochets for row 6. So it's 1, and into the last stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. So that's 13, 12 and 13. That's it. It is done. Now for the round 6 or row 7, this is what we have done, row 6. Now for the row 7, chain up 1, and we are going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 and 2, and we're going to do single crochets into the each stitch except the last 2. So 1, 2 here, 12. Now we need 13 stitches for this row, and as we have ended up here having 12, we are gonna put these 2 stitches together. So insert your hook inside the first stitch, grab your yarn and insert the hook inside your second stitch, and grab your yarn and just pull your yarn through all 3 loops. And that's how this is our 13th stitch. And for this is the end of row 7, and for row 8 have a chain 1 here, and as we have done it before, just do it exactly the same. Have your yarn, another time just grab your yarn and have 3 loops and put 2 stitches together. Just have your yarn pulling through all 3 loops, and this is your first stitch. And we're going to have 13 stitches in this row as well. It is row 8, and we're going to have 1 single crochets into the each next stitch except the last one. Into the last one we are going to have 2 single crochets, and for the last one we are going to have 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So it's going to be 13 single crochets here at the end of round 8. So it's 12 and 13th. Now for the row 9 and row 10, we are going to repeat row 7 and row 8. So as we have done in the row 7, we're going to chain up 1, and we are going to have 2 single crochets into the first stitch. And then all the remaining, not all the remaining, but except the last 2 stitches, we're going to have 1 single crochets into the each stitch, and we're going to end up having 12 single crochets here. And for the 13th one, what we're going to do is we're going to put these 2 stitches together. This is our row 7, and we are going to do exactly the same for this our row 9. And for the row 10, we are going to turn our work. We are going to put this 2 stitches from row 8 together, from row 9 together, and gonna make 1 single crochet here, and then 1 single crochet into the remaining all stitches except the last one, and into the last one we are going to do 2 single crochets. So just repeat row 7 and row 8 for row 9 and row 10, and I'm going to meet you at the end of row 10. Okay, so I'm here. I've done my row 10 here, and I'm at the end of the row 10, and I'm going to do my last 2 single crochets here. So it's going to be 12th and 13th single crochet here. So remember, we have repeated row 7 and 8 into the row 9 and 10. Now if you can see, the half portion of the heart has already been formed. It is done, and we're going to do the second half now. So as we have done from row 7 to 10, we are gonna do it in a reverse to 10 to 1st. Now this is our middle row. The 10th one will be our middle row, and we're gonna repeat the rows here. But what we are gonna do is, so for the row 11, chain 1 here, and we are another time gonna have 13 single crochets here. So to make those 13 single crochets, we are gonna have this 2 single crochets together. So first 2 stitches together. So we're gonna put this first 2 stitches together. We're gonna grab the yarn, and we'll make 2 single crochets into the one. Let's do it again. Chain 1, just insert your hook inside the first stitch, grab your yarn, insert your hook inside the second stitch, grab your yarn, and make 2 stitches together and make 1 single crochet here. This is the first single crochet, and for the rest of the another 11 single crochets, we are going to have 1 single crochets into the each stitch. So that's 1 together, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And for the last stitch, we are going to do 2 single crochets to into this stitch. So it's going to be 13 single crochets all together, and insert your hook, make 1 single crochet and insert your hook into the same stitch and make another single crochet, and going to be our 13 single crochet. This is end of row 11, and chain up 1 here. For row 12, turn your work and have 2 single crochets into your first stitch. So 1 and 2. We have made 2 single crochets into the first stitch, the same to the another 10 stitches. We're gonna have single crochets into the each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have made 2 single crochets here, and then the 10 single crochets into the each stitch, and it's going to be total of 12 single crochets. And for the last 13th single crochet, we're going to put this last 2 stitches together. So insert your hook into the first stitch, grab your yarn, insert your hook and grab your yarn, and have 3 loops. And you're going to have 1 single crochet here. Just grab the yarn and pull it through all 3 loops, and that's it. This is the end of round 12. Now we are going to repeat the same thing to the next 2 rows. So row 11 and row 12, we are going to use it for row 13 and row 14. So let's chain up here 1 again, and as we have done in row 11, make these 2 stitches together. So it's going to be 1 single crochet here, and for another 11 single crochets, another 10 single crochets, make each single crochet into the each stitch, sorry about that, and make 2 single crochets into your last stitch. Okay, so here I have done my row 14, and for the row 14 I have made 2 single crochets into the first stitch, and then another 10 single crochets into the next 10 single crochet stitches, and here altogether I'm having 12 single crochets. And into the last 13th single crochet, I'm going to put my hook inside the first stitch here. We'll grab the yarn. Similarly, we'll grab the yarn from the second stitch as well, and we'll make this together as the 1 single crochet, and this is my 13th single crochet, and we'll chain up 1. Now here we are going to need 12 single crochets as we have done it before. We're going to need 12 single crochets, not the 13 single crochets for the next row number 15. So for the row number 15, what we're going to do, we are going to make these 2 stitches together. So we'll grab the yarn from the first stitch, and we'll grab the yarn from the second stitch, and we'll make 1 single crochet here, and this is our first single crochet for round 15. And for next all stitches, make 1 single crochets into the each stitch. Okay, this is my last stitch. I have made 11 stitches here for row 15, and this is my last single crochet, the 12th single crochet for row 15. Now I'm going to chain up 1 here, and we'll turn my work, and we'll do 1 single crochet into the each stitch, and to this last 2 stitches we are going to make 1 single crochet into this one. So we are going to make 1 single crochet together into this last 2 stitches. So here make this 10 single crochets, make 1 single crochet into the each stitch. Okay, so I have made 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and into the next stitches I have made all 1 single crochets into the first stitch and into the last one. So here we have 10 single crochets, and for the last one we're going to have 11th single crochet. So we're going to put our hook inside the first stitch, and we'll grab the yarn and again insert your hook into the stitch and then grab the yarn and pull it through all 3 loops, and that's it. This is your 11th single crochet. Now chain 1 and turn your work. We're gonna have 9 single crochets as we have done before. We're gonna have 9 single crochets, so we're gonna make these 2 first stitches together and these 2 last stitches together, and for the remaining stitches in between that first 2 and last 2, we're gonna make 1 single crochets into the each stitch. So let's grab the yarn and make a 1 single crochet here, then 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. 1, and for the last 2 stitches we are going to make 1 single crochet here. So just make it together and make 1 single crochet here, and that's it. Chain 1. And now again for this round number 18 we are going to do similarly as we have done it before. For the first 2 stitches we are going to make it together, and for the last 2 stitches we are going to make it together. So round number 18, just grab the yarn from both the loops, make it a 1 single crochet here, then 1 single crochet into the next 5 single crochets, and for this last 2 stitches, set your hook and grab the yarn from both the stitches, have 3 loops and make it together, and this is your 7 single crochets. Now chain up 1, and for the last row, this is your row number 19, and this is your last row, and we're going to do 5 single crochets here all together. So just for the first 2 single crochets, just grab your yarn and make it together. So it is your first single crochet, then next 3 single crochets, make 1 single crochets into each stitch, 1, 2 and 3, and for the last 2 stitches make it together, and that's it. You have your 5 single crochets here into the row 19. This is your last row, and that's it. Our heart is ready.